What's going on, world? Welcome to We on the Laughs with Tyson Paul, the show where we get some of your favorite comedians and ask them everything comedy. I'm your host, Tyson Paul, and tonight we have a very special guest for you. She is a model and actress turned comedian. You've seen her in Entourage, you've seen her in Wedding Crashers, you've seen her in Maxim magazine, but right now, tonight, she's going to answer all your great comedy questions. Let's give it up for the very popular Rachel Sterling. How's it going, Rachel?
Good. How are you?
Yay! Did you like the introduction? Was the introduction cool? Was it
It was
a
perfect.
10?
Yes, it was
Okay.
good. It was good.
Just
I
making
always
sure.
get nervous when people introduce me because they never know what they're gonna say.
Yeah. No, it's like
It
most
gets
comedians.
dicey sometimes. It gets
Yeah.
dicey. So I
Yeah.
get a little
No.
nervous.
So, I think we'd like to start off with the same way we start off with every comedy interview. Basically, tell me some of your first memories of comedy as a genre, just in general.
I mean, my first memory is probably as a little kid just watching reruns of honestly Bill Cosby because he was always on HBO. So that's the first thing I probably really remember. My parents really liked George Carlin, but I don't think I understood what I was listening to. I had a natural crush on Steve Martin when I was like 5. I don't know why. So, yeah, I don't know what was up with that. But yeah, so that's it. Those are my earliest memories.
Okay. Now
Okay,
you
yeah.
actually you went a different route than most other female comics. Basically, you were already like a star in your own right before you became a comedian. So tell me about that journey, like how you discovered comedy, like as in like, okay, this is something I wanted to do because you were already in comedy classics like Wedding Crashers and like comedy classic TV shows like
Yeah.
Entourage, but we never really would have known you as a funny woman. So like, how did that all transition into stand-up comedy?
Okay, so I always say that I wish I had been as committed to acting as I am to stand up because it might have been very different for me. I might not have even have done any of those roles. The difference they're very different. So I've done things like uh, Wedding Crashers, that is a funny movie, but then I've also done Reno 911, where it's scripted, but it's very loosely scripted. So it's it's almost like a wild rogue sketch because we have there's an outline of what you're meant to do. Obviously, we need to get to this point, but there was a lot of freedom in how you got there. So being on set was really fun, and you had to be very adaptable. And there are two different types of acting, two different types of comedy. I've done stage stuff, I've done sketch comedy. Um, it's all right, but definitely, it was something to do, but I didn't love it. I liked it, but I didn't love it. Stand up, I actually love stand up. I actually love the process of it. You know, kill or bomb. I love the process of it. I accept that you won't make money from it. You probably will suck for a long time. You're not going to be famous from it. I do feel I have it a little bit easier than most of my peers because I don't want the fame. I just want to be good. I've already had a little bit of fame, and it is what it is. But I would rather be good. So I don't care about it. It's not important to me. All the network, all the stuff that you see on my social media, how I promote myself is just because it's just second nature for me to do that. But I also feel like that's part of the game now. It shouldn't be, but it is. You have to. Networking is just as important as you said at the punchline. I think putting, everyone has a problem with. I don't want to do a bringer show. I don't like that sentence. I think they should rename it something else, and I think people should not be so like I don't want to do it or say that they're too good to do it. Every show is a bringer show. That is how your value, like you should be funny, obviously. That's just a given. That should be standard. But are you valuable? Do you put asses in seats? Every show is a bringer show. someday you won't have to say, please come to my show, because you will have what's known as fans. And they'll come to your show. Your name will be all that they need. Every show is a bringer show. It's asses and seats. If you can't fill that stadium, that room, you have no value. Doesn't matter how funny you are after a while. Doesn't matter how pretty you are, how nice you are. You know, you can be homies with everybody. They'll put you in one or two. But if you're just kind of dead weight, you will get cut out. And I'm not saying that I'm the be-all, end-all of knowledge of stand-up, but I've been in the industry for a long time. And I feel like it's that way across the board. Any part of the industry. If you don't have value, like, show up on time, do your damn job, don't be a problem, and add value. If you're not good value, or you're a pain in the ass, they might deal with you a pain in the ass if you're good value. You know what I mean? But you have to be amazing. So it's just like, there's a lot of factors that go into it. And I think that there's a lot of people that just go, I've been doing this for 8 years. I've been doing this for 10 years. It should happen naturally. It's not the military. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of cogs going in the network. And if you're not versatile and able to, you know, do all of them, I don't know if it works. I don't know, unless you're just so genius. I'm sure it happens where someone's just so genius it doesn't matter. But I think the more and more that technology is just such a part of our world, unfortunately, I don't think that's enough. I mean, that's one of the reasons I don't like acting, and I love acting. I don't like the process of hunting down jobs, because I'm used to a time where you would go in a room and there'd be readers and producers, and you audition like a normal person, not film yourself, light yourself, find someone to read with you. It's just too hectic. Like, my job should just be to spit out the lines. That's it. That's it. Not do all this stuff and edit and send it. And then you're meant to give your agent whatever percent, when all they did was go on a website that you could have gone on, pick something that you probably aren't even good for, and send it to you, and they make you do the work, and then they get 20%. I'm like, that's ridiculous to me. So basically, I'm a dinosaur, and and also acting's like, it's me regurgitating or what somebody else wants me to say. Because the roles that I have, you know what I mean, they're more of a niche, let's put it that way. So there isn't a lot, unless I'm doing an indie, there isn't a lot of freedom for what I think the role is. I can put my personality to it, but it's very specific of what the director wants, what the producer wants. So I'm a little doll. They do what you were supposed to do. There's not really like, well, I think she does this. Well, that's great what you think, but this is the character. So I never really got to say anything what I wanted or how I felt or really until now. And it's funny because when I was an actor, I was kidding. When I was an actor, I wanted people to take me seriously, and no one did. And then now that I'm, or maybe it's opposite. It's just opposite. As an actor, like, I wanted a certain amount of, like, pay attention to me. And they're like, whatever. And then now I'm like, I'm just fucking kidding, dude. And they're like, everything's, you know, I post one meme. It's like, okay. So I like to stir the pot, not necessarily my spot, anybody's pot. And I see memes, just, and they're shitty memes. They're mean or whatever. Or they're about relationships, or like, I put like a little devil in the back, like, And I post them because I think they're hilarious. And I'm like, oh, that could be a funny, like, premise for a joke. Man, you post too many things about you're unhappy, a bad relationship, even as a joke. It's like a bat signal. Every guy in your DM's like, oh, did your boy die? Is he gone? You know, it's like, real, like, it's a joke, dude. Calm down.
Yeah, no, I think that's one of the things about us as comics. Like, we're very misunderstood a lot because we'll make anything funny. Like, no matter what. Like, if you're a true comic, you'll make anything funny. Like, any news or any meme or anything like that, you'll find the funny into it. Now, with you, it's actually kind of, I mean, because your story's unique. I mean, you were, like how you want to say, you basically were old school, like like when it came to fame, because you had fame at a very young age, and you were like famous before like social media and everything like that came along, and now that you like transitioned to a new career, and it's like a new game basically, but like still like it's the old way, but like just a new way of playing it.
Yeah.
Like how is it, how have you been adjusting like some of your old tactics into this game now, and then on social media, like how you basically just like you know how to sit there and get people to come to a show or like come listen to your comedy and stuff. So how have you transitioned like your comedy? Like how do you feel it's made you like basically like what you went through before like got you to this point and like got you the laughs that you get now?
God, not to really sound like a 100-year-old person, but just in my day, we didn't complain about shit. There was a job to do, and you went and you did it, and that's all there is to it. And if you had a complaint, there's a right there. You can, you don't want to do it. Great, there's 5 other girls that will. And I don't know if that's healthy per se, but it's just the way it was, and that's how I'm trained. And I've had a lot of jobs where, the work ethic has to be there. It just has to. And it's one of those things, like I'm trying to train myself now to relax. It's not that I'm incapable of it. I'm just not, like, my idea of relaxing is other people's work. You know what I mean? So I like, it's just different. I think that I can get people to come to shows simply because I do have fans and stuff for over 20 years. I'm really aging myself right now. But, and we didn't have social media. So the only way they could have access to me is if there was a meet and greet or something like that. And it's very limited time. And then there was a time when I just went out of the entertainment industry altogether because I was very sick. And then I came back and did stand-up. So now there's a lot more access to me because of social media, because you have to engage, because when you do the Laugh Factory, when you do all these other things, seeing people, like you can't just do your set and bounce, you know what I mean? You kind of have to hang out because people come for you and they want to see you, they want to take a picture with you, or they want to talk to you for like 2 seconds or whatever, and you kind of have to, at least I feel I owe it to them for now. And until it'd be a great problem if it just gets too much for me, but right now it's not a problem. But like I feel like I've been having success getting people to come to shows. And I can't get everyone to come to every bar show and yard show I do, but definitely like the bigger venues are easier to get people to come to. Because there is a promise that I will not run. I'll sit there for a bit and I'll talk to you, and people bring books that I've been in, like there's a coffee table books, and the La Jolla show, this guy bought this like massive, it was like, I don't even know how, it's like yay tall, so tall, this poster, it was like a collector's item poster. I don't even have it, I forgot I even shot it. And I was like, he was sitting there, like it was in a bag, and he goes, hey, can I sign this later? And we pull it out, and the show hasn't even started. It's this massive thing, and I was like, oh my god. So like I'm saying, like if I didn't take the time to come out and like kind of peep around and stuff like that and make myself a little bit accessible and friendly, which to me is hard because I do have crippling anxiety, then I would have never seen, you know what I mean? You have to give a little back to people. It's not just telling jokes. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes perfect sense. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
and that's also my brand. That might not be everyone's brand. You know what I mean? Some people, I'm really lucky because most of the things that I know about the comedy industry, when I have a question, I ask Tom Green. And he's the nicest person on the planet. He's so nice, it's ridiculous. I have seen him sit there forever and talk to people, and I'm like, whoa, aren't you tired? And he goes, they can't talk to me. And he's so nice. So I kind of like really and he's been in the industry for a long time, and You know, his fans love him. He could still recite the ABCs and they'd still love him. And so that kind of respect, you know, and I'm like, fame is not respect. Fame is fame. Not the same thing. You know what I mean? Being good is not fame. It's not the same thing. I used to say that about acting. I'm like, do you want to be an actor or do you want to be a celebrity? And I chose I think it's celebrity. that and $5 to buy me a latte now. But it's like I just kind of see what people. If he's not too good to do it, then neither am I. You know what I mean? So, but then you see, it's really easy to get caught up in like if you only go to open mics and like you know what I'm saying, like these local shows, and there's nothing wrong with them. I'm not against doing them at all, but it's very easy to get caught up in whatever it is your peers are thinking or doing, the cool kids. And it's kind of like I turned into my mom. Those aren't your friends. They're just acquaintances. Because you really have to. The world is much bigger than Los Angeles. It's much bigger than the Row, the Comedy Store, the Laugh Factory, the Empire. It's much bigger. It's wide. It's very wide, and there's so many different types of people, and your job is to connect on some level with all these people. Find some common ground. Either be so shocking that you're like, whoa, and it's hilarious, or you're a master of satire, or you can connect with people, and you look at them in the eyes and they're nodding yes. You know what I mean? Like sometimes if you don't, I don't particularly want like a murder with a set up punchline, but I do think that I connect with people. I think somehow with all my anxiety, that's my superpower. But and I don't know. I mean, it's different for everybody. I'm sure some people just are just great. I'm not a good writer. I'm admittedly not a good stand-up writer at all. I don't get it. When I tried to write, it hurts my head, and I just freak out, and I don't do it. So I have to go have experiences and see things, and that's why I think it's important to do mics, or at least maybe if you're not so great doing them, but just go and like meet people and have experiences. Because if you're not having any experiences, how are you supposed to talk to all these people?
And like basically from the word that you come from, and like now with you being in comedy, like I think you know better than a lot of other people about how comedy, you're constantly adjusting. You're constantly adjusting to anything, like, because anything can happen at any moment, especially on stage. Like anything can happen. So how, like for you, because how was it adjusting to comedy, like basically going on stage, and then how is it like now? Because like you said, like people like Tom Green, that people that you idolized and you looked up to when you weren't doing comedy, like now they're coming out to see you do shows. Like how does it feel?
Tom hasn't seen me yet. He's in Canada right now. I did call him last night because I had a weird welcome. I'm having a bad day. He's like, oh God, what time is it? But like, yeah, I mean, Harlan came to see me. I can't ever tell if he thinks I'm good or if he's just being like nice. Yeah.
Jay Davis is coming to see you.
Jay Davis has not come to see me.
Yes, he did. He actually was at the Ice House for one of your very first shows.
Oh, he did see me, didn't he? I forgot about that. And then he bounced immediately after I was on stage. I remember that because I was just like, where did you go? Yeah, I mean, I wish they'd come see me now. I'm a lot better than I was relatively new then. I have more fun with it now instead of like it's less. It's not like it's less structured. I think it just I'm not thinking about it so much, so it's more fun. There have been times when, because I'm just tired, because sometimes I'll do 2 shows a night or they're consecutive. Or I'm traveling. Like I'm a lunatic. I have no actual job, so I do like freelance work. So if I do work, which I try not to, but it makes me sad. But like I have nothing to do, so I will drive to San Diego and drive back because I don't want to stay there. I'll drive to Phoenix and do a show and drive back because I don't want to stay there. I don't care. You know what I mean? So it's like, and when I've talked to more seasoned people, and they're like, yeah, that's how it used to be. Just you drove everywhere and you're exhausted, and it's all part of it. And so it kind of feels very like, oh, I'm doing it the old way. But at the same time, I am tired. Like I have a ring light on right now, and I feel like I still look really tired. But it's one of those things. Like it's not that I'm afraid to take a break. It's just I worked really hard for the momentum that's happening. I made a list of particular shows and venues that I wanted to be on by the end of summer. They've all happened. But it's constant work.
Yeah, and it's crazy, like, because
work. It's constant. It's constant. The amount of fucking Instagram that has to happen is outrageous. It's outrageous.
Yeah, and it's crazy because okay, when you were acting, like you had
we didn't have it. Yeah. We had publicists. We didn't have EPKs. It was a folder, and they'd send it. You'd walk in with it, like slapping on, like you were somewhere really important.
But now with comedy and stuff, now it's like everything you have to do everything yourself, but you're more accepting of the comedy grind than the acting grind. So like, what's more appealing to the comedy grind than the acting grind?
Instant gratification.
Okay.
It's instant gratification, and also that you get what you give. If you didn't do the work, because you suck. Something you can't blame. It's not the room. You had a bad night. You didn't do the work. You're not present. If you're not present, you didn't do the work. And everybody knows, and that's all there is to it. There's some greats that probably are super seasoned that have been doing this for 900 years. I can go up there and probably wing it and nobody cares. But I'm not been doing it for 30 years. You haven't. Most people I know haven't. So it's like you have to be present. And if you're not, you know what I mean? Like for some reason, acting, I don't really need to be present. I'm a well of emotions, so I don't really have to be present per se. And also, I don't know. I always felt like I was doing it wrong. I do. That's the thing is it's anxiety. Like I constantly feel on some level I'm doing everything wrong and everybody hates me. So what a better job to have than stand up, where it's okay that maybe everybody hates you. In fact, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
You know
Actually,
what I mean?
you can use that as material.
Because when you're standing there, you realize everybody's sitting down. I've asked, I'm like, is anyone else drinking away anxiety? The whole room's like, fuck yes. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, child, yes, we all feel really awkward right now. And that's a fun experience because then it's like I think they're looking at me like, oh, like there's no problems. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of problems. The only difference is I Botoxed my face so I don't project problems. It's called many.
Oh, man. Oh my god. All right, so actually, cause I want to ask you these few questions before we have to go. So who are some of your favorite comics to watch right now, and then where are some of your favorite comedy clubs to perform at? Cause I mean, you perform basically at plenty of comedy clubs, but there's always that one favorite one that you want to work at, and then there's always that one favorite group of people that you loved working with.
I mean, I don't think I've been doing stand-up long enough to pick my favorite club. So far it's La Jolla, mostly because I grew up out there and I used to walk by that place, and so to be in it performing and then everybody in the room just accepts me as I belong on that stage, no question. They're not questioning it, is really great. I mean, I haven't had the balls to even try to do Supernova yet, but that'd be fun. I did the Laugh Factory last night for the first time. It was a wonderful experience. there was a mishap that I'm not going to talk about, but it made it not a wonderful experience. The stage was wonderful. My set was wonderful. People I worked with wonderful. Uh, Somebody was not wonderful, and they kind of like made. Oh, I mean, talk about like when you're like yeah, and you're like get off stage and you're that high, and you want to ride that out. You're like I'm not sleeping tonight, yeah. And this person just like a genie just in front of my face, and they're so tiny and short that I was like, oh hi, and just really burst my bubble, and I was like, okay, weird flex, but all right. And it hit me. I don't know why I was so reactive to it, because normally, I mean, it's the first time I've ever been talked down to, and it won't be the last. And for every woman that's like, it shouldn't happen, it does. So just accept that it does, and hopefully it'll change. And you have to have a tough skin in every business. And I really am more angry that I was reactive to it, but I was very tired. I was working on a project for a PA for a project, and it's literally just ended today. And so I've been up really early, working 8 hours a day, and then I drive an hour. I did the show at the Dime, hightailed my ass over to the Laugh Factory. I put like 18 asses in seats. It was a small show, it wasn't like a super big one. So I'm like, instead of you know how it is, instead of thinking before a show, you got a million people texting you, I'm breathing, I'm parking, there's traffic, I'm at a red light. I'm like, bitch, I don't care. At this point, I don't even care if you come. The ticket's already been bought. Work it out.
That's true.
It's like, why is this happening? It's like the rudest thing you could ever do. Anyone watching this, don't do that. It's fucking rude.
And so who are some of your favorite comedians to work with?
Really putting me on the spot, aren't you? I love working with B. She's my favorite right now. Honestly, I'm not going to answer that question because it's just like I feel like I'll forget somebody and then I'll get in trouble.
Well, B. Gutierrez is a pretty good selection, so that's a good selection.
Her energy is so nice. It's so great. Like, she answered my bat call because I was like, girl, can you please come to the Laugh Factory show? Because I'm so, for me, it was also like it was like a show / audition for me. So it was like I don't get stage fright. That's another weird thing about me. I don't get stage fright, but I was just like, I have to do a clean set. So anyone watching this that's a comedian, if you're auditioning for the Laugh Factory, you don't have to be clean afterwards, but for the audition, clean set. So, and I'm not raunchy, but there's a few words that I had to like try to get out of my brain, but it's so much repetition. It's sometimes hard. And I was tired. I'm like, I'm so tired. I didn't get my nap. I didn't get my juice box. I feel like I'm going to get there. I'm like, just tired. And I need energy. God. I need that B energy. And she's like, I'm there. She's like, showed up. She's like, I'm here. I'm like, yes. I'm like, hug me. Just hug me. Just hug me. Just touch me. It's fine. But yeah, she's great. And I could hear her laugh. I was naughty and I videoed my set. You can hear her laugh like the loudest. And it's hers. It's her laugh. It's the best. But yeah, I really have great experiences with everyone that I work. I haven't had like a really shitty experience yet with anybody that I've done stand-up yet. I'm told it happens, but so far so good. Knock on wood. I'm also really lucky because just little things like I did a show with Adam Hunter, and he's just so generous with his brain. Because he's such an assassin with the setup punchline, which is something I don't grasp yet, really. If I do, it's on accident. And if I go, what is this? And he's just like so generous, because there's some comics they don't want to help you. They don't want to help you, and I think that's also the good thing about be careful, not be careful, but be mindful of who you spend most of your time with. And you shouldn't just pick your friends like they're celebrities. That's shitty. But just I'm more of like the doers, people that are doing things. They have a different energy than people that want to do things and aren't doing things or aren't living to their full potential. There's a lot of the it's just different. It's just different. So I really like people that say they're going to do a thing and they do it. It's do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
For comics,
Yeah.
there's a lot of comics that they get mad that someone else is on a show, they're not on the show, and it's like, okay, well, did you reach out? No. Did you support the show? No. It's a ticket, dude. Buy the ticket. Save your pennies and pick a show that you want to be on, and buy a fucking ticket. Like, go. Or if there's another shows where like, oh, comics getting free, then I don't want to hear about it. They literally said come for free, and you didn't come. There's no excuse whatsoever. That's on you. And like, I know it's like some people think it's cheesy to like take pictures and post. It's all part of it, dude. And also, you shouldn't be mean to people that you think you're better than, because people, the levels change. And you never know. That's something I see a lot too. I don't mind being dismissed. I've been dismissed most of my career, and I don't really care. Gives me more time to come up and smack you on the ass on the way up. But like, I have seen people just completely dismiss someone else because they're only an open micer, or they weren't good. I'm like, you can have an opinion that you don't think that person's not your brand comedy, you don't think it's funny, but like to completely dismiss them forever, and like you don't know who that person knows and who they're gonna know. Like, and you shouldn't start like shit with people because you don't know. We're all eventually there's like 2 degrees of separation between all of us. So you, like, and we've all talked a little shit or whatever, but it's best not to. It's best not to.
Yeah, basically.
If you do, you better own it. You're like, yes, said it.
I said it. Yeah, no. All right, so we're about to let you go, but before we let you go, we got a game that we usually like to play called Either Or. Basically, I'd like to ask like some of my favorite comics, some of comedy's favorite topics, and have them choose either or. Now, these are just your preferences. You don't have to be politically correct and like please fans or anything. These are just your preferences, okay? Right? Right. All right, so we're going to go with the first one, and it is Entourage or Reno 911.
Oh, how dare you! Really? Like, which one did I have more fun on?
Just your preference.
Oh, you can't do that to me. Oh my god, I still rhymes with Doug Ellen. I don't hang out with. Oh dear. I mean, if they made a reboot, which actually Entourage is, but if they made a reboot and they said come back, I would pick Reno 911 just because I can actually do more stuff. Entourage, I'd be like, where's my bathing suit? Like, it's just it's different. But yeah, I know all the boys love Entourage. Boys love Entourage. Like, they're like, you were so good in Entourage. I'm like, I literally, like, congratulations on my face and my boobs. That's what you're saying. Like, what did I do? What did I do? I didn't to like. I showed up
to a lot of college dudes. To a lot of college dudes, that's really good acting. All right, my next one.
I showed up to set that day.
Yeah, all right, my next one. Wedding Crashers or The Hangover?
Wedding Crashers.
Okay.
That's the one I was in. I owe everything to that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I owe everything to Robin Anton for picking me to do the dolls, even though it was a short period of time. Because when I left, I got more opportunity leaving after I left than probably if I would have stayed, and including Wedding Crashers, because I think I was still in the group when I had asked permission to go film that movie. So like without those two things, I don't even know. Like I wouldn't have had any of those opportunities that I had. Like we didn't have Instagirls. You had to bust your ass and pay a publicist and be in like every Maxim, every FHN, every Stuff magazine, which doesn't exist anymore. All over the world, there's different ones. You know what I mean? It's a freaking grind. Photo shoots and red carpets and all this crap. But I wouldn't have had any of that if it weren't for those two things. So, and also I wouldn't have had those things if I didn't do. I met Robin through McG, who was a director for music videos. I used to do a lot of music videos, and I like back in the day when we used to pay stuff, and so I think I did like a Sugar Ray music video or something like that. And so I met McG, and we clicked, and that was his girlfriend. And she's like, "I need you to do this thing," and I didn't know what she was talking about, so I passed. And then I saw what it was, and I'm like, "Dang!" And then she asked one more time, and I said yes. But you know what I mean? Like, work always begets work. So if I had not done would I do a music video now? No. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if I would do it if I was still young, but like I had a different mentality then. And I just, if it wasn't working, I was breaking out. So, but if I didn't do it, I would have, everything has a effect. So it's like, if I didn't go to my auditions for music videos, I never would have been a doll, and I would have done Wedding Crashers. The only reason I got asked to do Wedding Crashers is because of all the other stuff I did.
Nice. All right, and last but not least, Rachel Sterling or George Carlin?
George Carlin. Wait, is he up there? I took him down. Where is he?
Yeah.
I used to have an album framed.
Yeah.
Up there. It used to be like where the dog is now, but my dog passed, so I had to stick my dog up there. But yeah, he's around here somewhere. He's probably, I don't know where he is. He's over there in the records. But yeah. It's like the Carlin record.
Well, yeah. Normally I like to ask comics like if they would pick themselves over like a legendary comic, and like 10 times out of 10, like they usually pick themselves. But you're one of the only ones that have actually picked another legendary comic, so respect to the game and everything. But I'm glad you came out and did this interview with us, Rachel. It was truly a pleasure to do this. This is probably one of my favorite interviews because you taught so much about comedy like in this generation's time. So I want to thank you for doing this interview with us. If you want to follow Rachel on Instagram and everything like that, where would they find you?
R. Sterling Comedy.
Okay, and be on the lookout for Rachel, as she's always doing shows in the Southern California area, and usually probably going to be traveling more out of California into the West Coast very shortly. So my name is Tyson Paul. Thank you guys for watching this We Only Laughs interview. I want to thank you, Rachel Sterling, for doing this. It's truly a pleasure, and I just want everybody to remember to always laugh at life because it's actually pretty funny. All right, until next time, everyone. Thank you.